Okay, all right. So let's get our gut protocol edition of the meal prep class started. So we're going to start with our oatmeal. And so a few things with this oatmeal. This was inspired by the trip to Punta Cana because almost every morning I had this oatmeal in Punta Cana form. There was a lot more sugar in it. So, they used coconut milk to cook the oatmeal, and it just tasted so like decadent and rich. And it had cinnamon, and I don't know how they sugared it. Maybe sugar cane, sugar, who knows? It was a mystery, but it was amazing. So I don't care. And so anyway, so that inspired this. And this is one of those dishes that you're going to be able to modify to what you want, right? So my plan, like the recipe is written, says 2 yellows, and that's including the added coconut, cashews, some blueberries, and there's a teaspoon. So, and the coconut milk that's in it. So my intention was to cook the oatmeal with the coconut milk and then portion it in the yellow containers, because currently it calls for 2/3 of a cup. So that's larger than a regular yellow. And so if you just portion it according to that, and then whatever you add it, so that'll be your yellow, and whatever you add in, count the containers, right? So you'll count if you're doing blueberries, or if you're doing blueberries plus cashews, or however you're going to work it out. Just put the amounts that are going to add up to either a half container or a full container. That way you can kind of modify it and do it how you like. I am going to add cinnamon to this recipe for mine, so I can feel like I'm back in Punta Cana and enjoying my morning oatmeal and matcha latte instead of coffee, right? All right, so let's get our stuff together. I actually have quick cooking steel cut oats, so my water usage is going to be a little bit different, but I kind of like these because if I forget during the week, like to make it the night before, I don't have 20 to 30 minutes. These are 7 minutes, and so Bob's Red Mill has these. They're still organic, gluten-free, and steel cut oats. They're just a little faster. So that's an option if you have them in your store.
So Deanna, quick question on the steel cut oats.
Oh, let's put the recipe up, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Are they all gluten-free, or do you have to get gluten-free steel cut
oats? So technically oats are gluten-free, but a lot of times they're manufactured in a location that does use gluten. So if you're celiac, if you're super, super sensitive, you are going to have a reaction to things that are on machinery that has previously had gluten on it. So technically they're gluten-free.
Okay, so if it doesn't specifically say it on here for this, we could still probably eat it.
Yeah, I would say so. Unless you have a gluten sensitivity already, or you're finding you do, you may see some reaction with it. Then that would be a good place to come in and say, oh, okay, maybe this isn't it. It will say on the back if it's on, like, exposed to probably nuts and gluten. Maybe there's usually allergy information on the back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's share screen here real quick. Okay. Yeah, so and this, it's funny, this looks like an older recipe too, because okay, portion, I'm sorry, I said it had a teaspoon. It has a half blue or orange and the yellow. So you just want to account, with the larger size, and depending on what you're using for your coconut, I'm going to use coconut beverage. So that's like an equivalent to an almond milk where it's a teaspoon. If you use coconut milk, then you're going to want to account for that with the blue portion. So it really just depends on how you're going with this. Does that make sense? This recipe, okay. So if you're doing coconut milk, like as it states here, that's where some of that blue orange is coming from the coconut milk, from the cashews, and from the coconut flakes.
Okay.
If you are, like I'm going to use coconut beverage. Yeah. So that's beverage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be like, if you used 8 ounces would be a teaspoon total, and you're not going to use 8 ounces total, but that would be a teaspoon across, what is this, 4 servings? 4 servings. But actually more than that if you're just using a yellow. Does that make sense? It's like, this recipe is so easy to kind of modify to what you want. And if you didn't like coconut, you could put almond milk in it.
Gotcha. Okay. But so then how would I count it then? Am I still
So
counting?
honestly, yours is going to be, how much coconut milk are you going to use?
Well, it calls for a half cup of canned, so I would just use a half cup.
Okay, then you're not really even going to count it.
Okay.
It's going to be such a tiny portion of a teaspoon with coconut beverage. I'm going to put.
But I would still use the half blue or orange though, right? For the shredded
If you're
coconut.
adding, yeah, if you're adding cashews and coconut flakes, those are all orange things. And so in there, then you're also getting some accounting for the coconut, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to use 2 cups of this, and then I'm going to count, it would be a half teaspoon with my yellow. But I have the coconut beverage too.
Gotcha.
Hopefully, and then, oh, I've got just enough left for my matcha latte later. And then it's a good place to throw in a little Himalayan salt. I'm going to do a little cinnamon in mine. You could also do nutmeg. You can kind of season it up what sounds good. So like, yeah, like tomorrow when I put this in my bowl, I'm going to go with a yellow of the oatmeal. So that will be 1 yellow, a half a teaspoon because of the coconut beverage. I'm going to likely add a cup of blueberries because that's normally how I have my oatmeal in the morning. So then I'll get that 1 purple in. And then that will be breakfast. But now I do need to start figuring out how I'm going to add some more veggies in because I have 7 cups over, 4-ish meals.
How about riced cauliflower in this?
Yeah, so you could totally mix that in. I saw somebody's been doing that on the Portion Fix group, and I do want to try that because I have riced cauliflower all the time. So I could put that in while it's cooking. Actually, that's probably how you do it, huh?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. And then it kind of all cooks together, especially with this quick cooking. Or if you don't have quick cooking, maybe you add it the last 10 minutes or something. So it. Okay, well, I will experiment with that. I want to make this one the way it is, and then I'll experiment with that on the next batch. Okay, so has everybody got their oatmeal heating up? And then I'm also leaving out the optional honey on this one because of the gut protocol. It's kind of why it's nice to do a little cinnamon or something that has a little extra too, because that can make it feel like it's more sweet. And if you're adding in, a full cup of fruit tomorrow with it, then that's also going to help with the sweetness and not have an added sugar. Okay, so while everybody's finishing up, next up's going to be the scramble. And I'm going to try that thing we were just talking about where I take it out of the liquid and put something heavy on it. So if your oatmeal's cooking, go ahead and start getting your, just whatever you need out for the tofu, which is like peppers, onions, tofu, beans. This container is not want to open very well.
Okay, so I was just talking to myself, but so what I was just gonna say is that when I do that thing with the tofu, what I do is I put like paper towels underneath it and paper towels on top of it, and then put something heavy on it, and then but I let it sit for like a half an hour.
Okay.
So I don't know. Kate probably does it. Well, she definitely does it way more than I do because I don't cook with tofu hardly anymore. So I don't know.
It just depends on how much time I have. If I'm in a hurry, I'll just let it sit the couple of minutes that I have. But if I have longer, then I let it sit longer.
And what's the difference? What do you find the difference is between the length of time?
Well, since I like to put like cornstarch on mine, it kind of, if it's too like wet, it soaks in the cornstarch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it just like doesn't crisp the same.
Gotcha.
But for this kind of scramble thing, I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference because it's cooking anyway, and it's gonna cook with other things.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and I guess during the 4 weeks, you wouldn't do the cornstarch because anything corn is not
right.
So what about like
I would be doing that
veggie, the vegan BLT? That would probably be a good time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It too, and then okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to bite into a soggy sandwich. Blah.
Right. Oh, this oatmeal smells so good. Okay, I've got my tofu layered on 2 towels. I'm gonna throw this heavy bowl on here. Let it just sit while we're.
Can you show me what you're doing? Can you tilt it down so I can see?
So yeah, so I've got my tofu on a piece of paper towel on a plate, and then another piece of towel under the bowl, and then I'm just gonna let it sit here and let the paper towels soak up the liquid.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And then that's supposed to help it like take the mush out of it, I guess, right?
Right.
You describe it.
I was gonna say it doesn't even have to be fancy. I have a sweet potato sitting on top of it, and I have paper towels in the package.
Exactly.
Just whatever you can find.
So, and I'm just gonna put my leftover tofu in this baggie with the liquid it came in, and then make a plan for that tomorrow. And maybe just as something as simple as making some miso soup and putting in these, tofu pieces with some seaweed, because that's super delicious. That's probably about the only way I've had tofu before this. Okay, so is everybody on? Does anybody still need the oatmeal recipe, or we'll switch it over to the tofu and then we can start cutting, chopping, and getting ready? Yell out if you need it. Okay, so we're also going to need, this does say extra firm tofu drained and mashed. So I would imagine we could probably crumble it with our fingers as we're putting it into the pan. And then we'll want to, so I'm just gonna drain and rinse my black beans. It doesn't really say that per se. Okay, and this is, so, oh, let's talk about the container counts really quick before we get into it. So this one, obviously the beans on the regular plan are counting as a yellow. Those are gonna be a red bee. So this is really 1.5 red. So if you wanted to keep that ratio different, like you just want 1 red, then you would just need to lower either the tofu or the beans by 1/3. Roughly. I would just cut your beans in half, then you have everything still there. So then everything else stays the same, the 1 green and then 1 blue is the avocado. Okay, and this is only 2 servings. Yeah, you can come and get water. Oh, okay, with what? Oh.
You put in cornstarch,
Oh, we were just talking about that.
beat an egg,
Yeah.
fry it, you make a certain oil, dump it over it.
Okay, Jack's got a tofu recipe he wants to use with cornstarch, and then you put it in flour and fry it.
Cut flour, eggs.
Oh, eggs, sorry. Eggs, cornstarch.
And you put it on a pan and cook it.
Yeah, I do without even eggs or anything. It's just the tofu and the cornstarch, put it in the pan. I usually, like with a little bit of oil or whatever, and then
Yeah.
it's so crispy and delicious.
Oh, yum. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
I hope it's so good.
But we're not using cornstarch during the.
No, yeah, I won't be able to have it. Just Jack can eat
Okay.
it.
Is there something else you could use instead of that?
Ugh. I mean, flour, but we can't really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you could do like an almond flour. I don't know how well it would stick.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
It
Bobby,
does come out. Oh, sorry.
Bobby referred to as arrowroot, so I don't know if that's a gluten-free.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah. So that's like a substitute for baking powder or cornstarch, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen that around.
And the tofu does come out, like if you just put it in the pan with the oil and crisp it that way, it does come out a little bit crispy. It's just not, as crispy and delicious.
Right.
Still crispy and delicious, but not as crispy and delicious.
Okay, well, my oatmeal is done, so I'm gonna let that cool down. And then what I usually do is I put it in like the same, like I always make the same amount and then I put it in the same type of container. And then once it's cool, I just take a knife and cut out I make it into servings. And that way I can just pop out whatever size, whatever square and throw it in my breakfast bowl. All right, so we'll get that skillet rolling. Let's see here. I need to drain the beans. I love that my 15-year-old comes rolling in here telling me tofu recipes, right? Like.
That is awesome. Hi, Sally.
Hi, I'm joining late. What recipe are you starting with?
No problem. So we are just getting started on the black bean tofu. The Mexican tofu scramble. I'm just looking at black beans and that's what's in my head. But we just finished the oatmeal and that won't take you long. So,
Okay.
If you want to jump in with the scramble and do the oatmeal as we have a little downtime, it's just really throwing some ingredients together. And you may want to watch the recording about what we talked about with, how you portion out depending on what you put in your oatmeal and what you add later.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so everybody's just getting everything chopped right now. We've got onion. I'm just gonna use red pepper because we don't do green peppers in our house. And then Court, let's see, get your black beans rinsed, get your tofu ready. And if you want to chop your cilantro and a tomato, and we can do an avocado at the end.
Do we have a tomato? Okay.
I put it on the happy song station and it's working. So in this recipe too, this is one of those that, if there's something you really enjoy, like you want poblanos in it, or you want some other kind of vegetable thrown in here, obviously not corn, but other things that sound good. This would be a great way to kind of use up what's in your fridge. I think like zucchini would be good in this. You could even throw a little edamame. Okay, let's get our spices out. I'm a big fan of smoked paprika, so I'm going to throw a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah, did you choose any extra vegetables?
I didn't. I'm just going with the recipe this time. No, so I didn't this time.
know how to use turmeric like this? Do I just shred it with a little shredder? It's in
Oh,
my,
I just have dried turmeric.
yeah, my
I
husband. likes to put
I don't
this
even
in-
know what the plant looks like.
Yeah, it looks like ginger root a little bit.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I would do a small grater.
Yeah. Like, you know, the little itty bitty hole one, you know what I'm talking about? Like on the, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I have one like
Peel
this.
it. Peel it though. Yeah. Like kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah. That should work. That should work. I mean, but yeah, you want to peel the skin off of it though, because you don't want that in there.
Thanks, guys. My husband, when he makes shakes, he just throws in everything. He never peels anything. Throws in all the ginger, all the turmeric, whatever. It's so funny.
Well, I suppose, if your blender's good enough, you won't even notice, right?
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with the skins. It's just, when you're cooking with them, they don't quite break down.
and I know people that literally will buy organic vegetables and not wash the dirt off of them very much because they want the natural whatever that comes out of the dirt. They want it in their food. So
Okay.
It
To
is
each
the
their own.
only, the reason we don't have B12 in our diets a whole lot is because we don't eat the dirt from the plants anymore.
Yeah.
So to leave it on is kind of like an added way to get B12.
Oh, interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, in a vegan diet, I guess, because you probably get it from meat. I think it comes from like when the cows, it's in the cows or whatever, or
Right.
chickens or something,
Right.
animal meat. But then if you're
For
not
meat,
eating that stuff,
yeah.
then you don't get a whole lot of B12. My
So
husband just said I
literally
eat
throw
dirt.
some dirt on it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Organic dirt, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna throw my beans in here. I'm just gonna crumble my tofu in it. Let's see how much they changed. No, not much. The paper towels are wet. I think I might really enjoy this for the fact that I think this is going to remind me of eggs, and I haven't eaten eggs in 3 years. And I kind of miss them some days.
It definitely has the same kind of texture.
Yeah, it
as
feels
eggs.
like
Or
it.
I think, I don't know. It's been a while for me too, but
Yeah.
yeah, same idea. And it's good. I don't know that there would be any for like the gut protocol, but outside of it, if you have like a tortilla of some kind, it's
Yeah,
good to put this inside and then, add a little salsa.
it would make a great, like breakfast
And
burrito.
this has salsa, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Avocado, yep, all of it, yep, delicious.
So as you're stirring this in,
Make
like
the cloud bread.
what were you saying, Lily?
I said you can make the cloud bread and use it with this and with
Exactly.
the coconut yogurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's be a
Think
little
that's protocol.
thicker though than a tortilla. So
Yeah.
it's funny. I saw a recipe for a tortilla made from just lentils and water. So what you do is you blend it and then you pour it in like a pancake and it's like a crepe. And then those are your tortillas and it's a red.
That's a good idea. Right there.
I think I'm
Boom.
gonna try it.
Yep.
What about well, I mean, not everybody is removing eggs. So what about those egg wraps?
Yeah, you could do that. You just have to look at what else is added in it to make sure there's not some other things that aren't part of the protocol,
Yeah, I'm wondering. Let me see. Egg whites, egg hulls, cauliflower powder, olive oil, sea salt, xanthan gum, spices, citric acid.
Okay. Then you can totally try that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be kind of, yes, like those exactly. There's also the Jicama Wraps too,
Yeah, I love those things.
but I've seen people with thinner Jicama Wraps.
So I doubled mine up.
Yeah,
mine
are
were-
they
they
really
were
that
really thin.
thin that you need to double them?
Well, they were really thin and I needed some greens and I'm like, I'm just gonna double these up for my shrimp tacos. But it was great.
Oh, good. That works.
Okay, so I think because I'm just, yeah, until heated through. Okay, so I think I'm ready here to, this is gonna be a good amount of food here for 2 serving.
Okay, so I'm new to this. You're actually cooking it all up. So like tomorrow morning, you just heat it instead
Right,
of,
so yeah, so I've got it all going here. I'm actually planning on having this for lunch, 1 serving of it because I usually have something I make today as
Yeah.
part of the day. So yeah, so I'm just gonna, get this kind of, portioned out here, take half of it, put it in a container, and then you could either throw it back in a saucepan, like a frying pan tomorrow to heat it, or
Yeah.
microwave it.
yeah, I was contemplating having this totally prepped for cooking tomorrow, but I'll just do it.
Yeah, it really, and this comes together so fast. So this is one of those things where it would be a pretty fast breakfast if you have, you just have to have all the ingredients. In fact, I'll use the bowl that just helped me press down the tofu.
Can you show what you drained your, you just drained it? Can you show what you did with your tofu?
Yeah, I'll talk it through because I took it off already. But basically all I did was I had just a plate. I put a paper towel down. I doubled up the paper towel. I put my tofu on it and I sliced my tofu in half just to try to get more water out of it sooner. Put another paper towel on top, and then I just stuck this bowl on top of that and let it sit while I was, cutting my other things. So what we were talking about earlier too, like this is a recipe where it may not be as critical. This is going to be more of an egg texture. If you're leaving it how it comes out of the carton, I had extra firm. So if you want to, we were talking about like times when you fry it and you want it to be more firm, you don't want it to be kind of spongy in the middle. So that's when you would leave it sit with something heavy for probably at least a half hour and make sure you're getting that excess water out.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I think next time I make this, I think I would do little diced zucchini in here. I think would be really good. A little less pepper, a little zucchini. Okay, so then, yeah, I put my extra in a container here. So this will be ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow I can heat it up, throw the salsa, cilantro, and avocado on it. Or if you don't want to use your blue on this, then just skip the avocado and have it with salsa, and then you've got your green and reds.
I made a last minute decision to add peas.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
Going with the zucchini suggestion.
Yeah, it just sounds good to me because it'll kind of lighten things up a little bit too. Zucchini and cauliflower rice, you can just put those things in about anything. Yeah, well, cauliflower rice would be great in this too.
I honestly find now, I was so reverse like on the opposite side of the spectrum when it came to vegetables. When I first started my journey, I really did not like vegetables. In fact, the only thing I really liked was carbs. End of story.
Right.
And they weren't even the good ones either. Like it was like,
Oh, we are
carbs.
twins.
Yeah, that's totally me. Now I find it is so easy for me to max out and overdo my vegetables because I can throw them in to so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang it. But at the same time, it's like, yes, but think of all the micronutrients I'm getting.
Right.
I talk myself the other direction. Like, I'm doing such a good job with that.
Yeah, it's foreign for me to think about maxing out your vegetables because I did Weight Watchers and then 2B, and it's like, eat them up, eat. Yeah.
I started drinking steak because I never ate vegetables, ever hated them.
Yeah, I did not like them. I
Here's
really
how it's looking, crew.
Ooh, beautiful.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yum.
Nice. Is that one serving?
That's one serving.
How big is that bowl, Deanna?
It's huge. This is my kid's ramen bowl.
Oh my
So this
goodness.
is what's left. This is how much it is. This is what I'd eat the ultimate reset salads in. This is the only thing that would fit it.
Wow.
So that will be my lunch. Okay, and then are we still doing this recipe or you guys moved on from me?
I'm late.
Want this recipe up. Okay, let's hit the next one.
You guys do this to get your last bit of energized. You pour it in here and then shake it up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then pour it back in your cup.
Yeah.
And for a while, they used to make it wasn't on purpose, I'm sure. But for a while, do you remember when the shaker cups used to be short? They weren't like the tall ones. You could actually take your shaker cup lid, your Shakeology shaker cup lid, and just screw it straight on top. And yeah. I stopped doing that when it became like a disaster mess and the stuff started coming out everywhere. I'm like, no, I'm losing my mom power juice, as I call it.
Okay, so
I still do that, Beverly.
I'm just getting my oatmeal tucked away here too for tomorrow. So I'll stick it in here. This is 4 servings for the amount I had. And so then I will cut this into 4 and I'll be all set. Okay, so let's talk chicken pesto. Okay, so I am gonna, I grilled my chicken before we started today. And then I'm gonna make my pesto now with you guys. And then, so when we have this later tonight, I'm gonna throw it together with the veggies and stuff like that. So let's talk about the prepared pesto. I screwed up a little bit because I probably shouldn't have had a pesto recipe because pesto generally has dairy. So I found a dairy-free vegan pesto, and it's gonna have the nutritional yeast in it versus Parmesan cheese in it. And the other ingredients are basically the same. So if this is a meal, you're going to kind of prep as you want it, because you may want to, depending on how you feel about zoodles getting just a little soggy. You can spiralize all the zucchini now, and that can sit in your fridge. I've done that before, where I'll just spiralize it all onto a plate and then just put a paper towel with it, cover it up, and stick it in the fridge, and that'll be good for a couple days. So then you can just take out the amount you need, throw it with the, do a quick saute with mushrooms, zucchini noodles, throw in your chicken, your pesto, and you're all set. The pesto, you can put in ice cube trays so that you have little sectioned pieces and freeze them. And then once they're frozen, you pop them out and just throw them in a baggie. And then you've got them whenever you want them. So, because I know sometimes you don't want to make pesto because you're like, how am I going to use all this pesto? But you don't have to use it all up. It can just sit in the freezer and wait for you. Then this one's just really straightforward too. The pesto is counting as I'll scroll down here real quick. It's counting as a teaspoon because of the amount used. So maybe normally, like if you used a lot of pesto because of the walnuts and the oil, it might be a blue, but the way we're using it in this recipe with 1 tablespoon, you'll have 1.5 teaspoons per serving for the pesto. So that's how you're going to account for those nuts and oils.
So Deanna, the chicken is not really pesto. Chicken is just prepared as usual. I was trying to find that.
Correct. So they just are putting it, so they're putting the pesto in the noodles and the veggies, but the chicken's just on top. So I would make your chicken, however, like I always grill our chicken because I don't like just baked chicken. So I grilled chicken and then I'll just slice that up and put it on top. You could add a little bit of, like while you're sauteing things, if you added just a little touch of liquid, like a little bit of water or vegetable broth, and put your chicken in it, it will then, coat most of it. So if you wanted those spices on the chicken.
Yeah, I think.
And you can also you could just also throw on extra fresh basil. That helps it too.
Okie doke.
So I'm going to, does everybody have a spiralizer, or do you need, like, you can cut zoodles. It'll take you a little while. You can also, Lily and I were talking about this earlier. She used to use a potato peeler. So you can just peel out the noodles on your zucchini. So that's an option too, if you don't have a spiralizer. We've had this one maybe a decade at this point. And
Wow.
yeah, and it was $30 on Amazon, and it has different blades, and it's worked great.
This tiny thing is it.
Oh yeah. So this one, you put it back here, put the zucchini in here, and just crank it through, and it's super fast and it's easy to clean because it all comes apart, and I just take a brush and clean it.
I have that same one. It works really well.
It does, yeah. And if you are still eating eggs, pesto on eggs is amazing. So that's a great option for, when you have this pesto later. Okay, I'm digging the tofu scramble. I need a little more salt, but it's good.
It looks yummy.
Yeah, it is like eggs for me, which I really actually like, because I have missed some of that egg in my life.
I thought we had turmeric and we don't. Do you have any substitution suggestions, or I'm just leaving it out?
For subs for what did you say, Sally?
Turmeric.
I still didn't hear you.
Sorry, turmeric.
Oh, turmeric. There really isn't a sub. If you don't have it, just don't use it. It's only a dash in there. When you're doing curries and stuff, it's more noticeable. Turmeric just has really great properties for your body to, have available. But if you don't have it, don't worry about it. So let's see here. Do you mind if I put up the pesto rest? Is anybody else making the pesto or is it just me? We'll figure out which recipe you want up here.
No.
Or if you have copies of your other recipe, of this recipe. I'm so excited about the tofu. That's so good.
One of my best friends is vegan and I've never confidently cooked for her. So at the end of this 4 weeks, I will.
You absolutely, that'll be fun.
That's so nice.
Is Sue still on here? Oh, did she jump off? I
yeah,
want to
I'm
find
here.
out. Oh, are you? There you I want to find out how that lentil chili was.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it looks
Yeah.
so good. I want to try that.
Yeah, definitely try it. My only thing for me is that the only paprika I have is a Hungarian hot paprika.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was kind of spicy,
Yeah.
but other than that, it was really good. And I just put it over top of cauliflower rice.
Yum.
Is this a Beachbody recipe?
It is. It's in, they were just released and it's in the gut protocol. So if you go under that recipe section in the gut protocol.
Right.
it is there.
And I'm getting ready to bake my bread, so I'll tell you guys how that turned out too.
All right.
I
Yeah,
hope you did better than I did. Mine was a
really?
beginner's experiment.
Oh, I'm doing mine in little loaf pans. It's like a little loaf pan from Pampered Chef, so I'm doing it in that.
Awesome.
So we'll see.
Make sure that you let it cool 100%.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
And
And
you make it with
otherwise it will get gummy and it just does not work. Like once you break that outside crust, if it's not 100% cool,
Okay.
I don't know what it is every time.
exactly what happened. And I think that my water was too warm. So they give you a temperature range. Be sure you're within it.
Oh, I didn't check mine, but hopefully it was okay.
Well, I think I was too hot.
Oh,
Sorry, I just switched over to the pesto real quick so I can see my measurements.
Okay, my
Try this. I make pesto all the time. But I'm excited to try it with the nutritional yeast. And then Sue, you made that potato soup too already, right? I heard that was really good.
equally as good.
All right, so what is everybody trying this week that you have never tried?
Well, I haven't cooked tofu in 20 years and I just did.
Perfect.
I'm trying sauerkraut again. I haven't had it since I was like 8,
Yeah.
and it wasn't good the first time.
And you're like, it wasn't a positive experience.
I don't think any kid likes sauerkraut when they're young, so I'm sure you'll like it.
Well, we had it in borscht.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, and borscht is such a different thing. I think if you have it by itself, maybe you'll dig it more.
well, I actually liked the borscht. I did not like the sauerkraut, but it might have been the huge hunk that I got with like nothing else in it. Wasn't quite ready for that.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try it.
I've just been topping all my vegetables with it and just sort of mixing it all together, and it just adds to the flavor.
I did like the kimchi that I tried for the first time ever. I
Oh, no,
just like
that I
that.
wouldn't.
Got some. I think I knew you'd like that. I mean, especially if you get the spicy stuff.
Yes. Oh, yes. It was very spicy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try tempeh. Believe it or not, I've never tried it, so.
So I love tempeh. Like I don't know. I've been digging those bowls.
Yeah, I'm gonna air fry it. Have you air fried it?
I don't have an air fryer.
Okay, I'm gonna try air frying it today and see what I think.
Let me know how you like it, because I want to try it in my air fryer as well.
Okay.
I did feel like it was more I don't want to to me it's not bitter, but it's got a little fermented flavor to it, you know, and I did feel like the parboiling helped that. So if you want to parboil it before you marinate it.
I have to say that I haven't had coffee since a week now, and I'm loving this tea, this dark chocolate.
Yeah, isn't that stuff good?
Yeah,
I have the matcha chocolate and it's so good.
it's in my cart. I need to push play, or I need to push order.
Yeah, Lily, I haven't had any since Tuesday morning and I'm loving the matcha.
Except my husband did walk by me with his coffee this morning. I was like, oh, that smell.
That was mean.
I know.
Well, Lily, because of your post, I ordered the chocolate tea.
It's so good.
It is. Yeah. It just has I really like the flavor of it.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back on the chicken now. Or does somebody need the pesto recipe? Is everybody good? Okay, I'll go back to the chicken and zucchini noodles. I'm gonna put myself on mute and start up my blender here. All right, now let's see how it tastes. Oh yeah, that's good. Woo, it's lemony, I like it. Okay. Ooh, so excited for food this week. That's gonna be good just on some chicken.
Or tofu.
Right? Or tempeh, or in a tempeh bowl. Anything you want pesto on, really. Okay, well, wow, we're pretty much through it. So are there any questions about anything or anything that like people are worried about this week, or just, anything we want to talk about in detail, or something that, you're not sure about?
We were talking earlier about getting all our containers in, and I was talking to Jess about how I'm gonna make alarms and really plan out my day, because otherwise I'm gonna not get all my containers in.
Right. And
Or I'm
it's
gonna be
easy to
stuck with-
focus protein and carb, right? But it's probably those vegetables where we're gonna really have to like force it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even believe how much I love this scramble. It's so good.
I wish I would have made it. I don't care for tofu, so
It tastes like, to me, it's like having eggs.
does
I
it?
don't even know it's not eggs.
Yeah, I'll try it this week then, because I don't really care for it.
Sue, I'm gonna tell you, pull your big girl panties up and try it.
Let's
Okay,
try it.
I will. Next time I go,
Our
I've been
talk all week. Just pull those panties up and let's go, girls. We gotta try some new stuff.
all right, I'll try it, I promise.
All right, I'm gonna take us off sharing here. Now I can see you all. Hi. There we are. All right, well, I don't want to hold everybody on. So if you want to talk about something, we can. Otherwise, we can also kind of just keep going with what you're doing, or.
I'm just chopping now. I have nothing else.
While I'm chewing my scramble.
So delicious. I have mine here ready to eat.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're gonna eat that all up before you even get to tomorrow, or
I have half right here for tomorrow. But I might eat this whole thing. This is like amazing.
Oh, yeah, it looks good.
It's so good.
You're gonna eat all your teaspoons in one day
Yep,
for the whole week.
exactly. I'm gonna eat my week worth of teaspoons today before we start.
Thank you. I'm gonna be in and out grilling some chicken now for later, so
Perfect.
I'll
Yeah,
sign
I
off.
love to do that. It's just the easiest way to have stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I'm gonna log off. I'm missing.
All right, sounds good, Sally. Good to see you.
Bye.
all of you.
I have a question. I
Yeah.
asked Lily this morning, and I'm curious what other people do. So I am not a good tracker at my food. Like I'll do great with breakfast, and then I'm like, so that's why I just don't usually track. So I'm wondering, like, I thought it might be helpful for me to start with my most complex meal, which would be dinner, and then kind of work backwards to make sure I get my containers in. But I'm wondering what other people do.
So is your tracking issue, you just like that you don't know what you have then when you get to dinner, or that you're just like, let's get more specific about like, or do you feel like you get to dinner and then you have a bunch of containers left because you weren't tracking, or just you feel like you don't have a plan for the day?
A little bit of all of the above.
Because I would say one thing on tracking, I think it's really helpful to make your food, put it in your phone, and then you get to eat it. Right? Because if you make it, eat it, and then you go about your day, you don't put it in your phone, or you don't put it in the app, or whatever piece of paper you're tracking on, or you know what I mean? So as far as like actually getting it in, it's like that habit stacking reward thing, right? You'll track it and then you get to eat it. And plus, you don't want to have to go back and put more in if you want to eat something else. You know, I mean, you eat what you planned and then it goes in. But I think for something new like this, you definitely have to kind of think about the day as a whole and maybe just write down what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, I think we've all talked about this too, that we're all going to likely make our meat for dinner because that's going to be easiest to handle family meals. And then, so it's like, you know, you're going to have your red A's then. You're probably going to have a yellow B then, or I mean, a yellow A or B. So it's like you plan those and then, yeah, you kind of reverse it.
Right. Okay. That's what I did. I mean, I wrote out, like I printed out the papers and then I don't know. It's easier. It's hard to say it.
Yeah,
So,
so
like-
have you ever used the app to actually track your containers? Because it tells you exactly how many containers you have left after you.
I do.
So Deanna's point of tracking your meal first. And so then when you get to dinner, you're like, okay, I only have these containers left.
Yeah, I do. And that's probably the most helpful. But I think for me, I need grab and go meals. Like literally have 2 minutes between meetings and it's like, oh my gosh, I've been in meetings for 4 hours. I need to eat. So I won't have time to be able to, okay, let's scoop out my yellow. And like, I just won't be able to do that. So I'm trying to think. So like I put together, like I printed this out and then I started backwards and then I just put like a little dot on the color that it was. And then when it actually, I don't know. I'm trying to play around with things because I'm sure like everybody, I absolutely hate tracking, but I know how important it's going to be and I know how important it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing is having pieces available. Having stuff that's like literally you dump it in, like you can make a bowl.
Yeah.
So like having stuff that's just available is going to help you in that pinch, and maybe making your shake at a time that's the busiest time.
Yeah.
Versus when you're used to it now.
Yeah, and you know, I'll add that it's even harder this coming week because it was always so easy for me just to grab a salad.
Yeah,
And
I'm still having salad.
Technically, you can't grab a salad this week, so.
Yeah.
Why not? You're used to having salads. Why can't you?
Because I'm curious to see if my body will react differently when I don't have the salad.
I mean, to Jen's point, you can if you've been eating raw vegetables all along. And I think a lot of us have, you know, done that. So that's, you know, it's a good option.
I don't think raw vegetables is my issue, but so you're right, you can still have them. And I did have 2 salads. So I had one like on, I think it was Monday and one Friday night. So.
Yeah. And it's all about, it's not a sensitivity issue. It's just the fact that your body's gonna have to work a little hard to digest and you make more bloating. And so it's about a comfortable issue. And people, you know, in this first week, you may already have bloating anyway from changes and the additional fiber and things going on. So it's like, you're just trying to make it easier for your body versus, you know, throwing everything at it.
When I know when I did Portion Fix, and then I even remember with like 80-day obsession and all the timing and tracking we had to do with that program, what worked best for me was on a Sunday or the weekend before is to literally write down my entire day, and then week. This way I knew where I was going to put the containers, that I was going to use all the containers, when I was going to use what I was going to have on hand. And then I thought that was really easy because then at lunchtime, I knew to go to the fridge and grab what I wrote down.
Yeah.
It does take a little bit of
think about it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all there. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I think that's what I need to.
And even knowing like, okay, this was what this snack equals. So this is what I'm going to have at this time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is the easiest for me because if I fly by the seat of my pants too, I get all screwed up with the containers, you know.
Well, and then you stand in your kitchen and you're like, oh, what do I want?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like Deanna said, having easy things to grab, like for a blue or green or purple or whatever, is just probably the best for us that don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, like there's always, brown rice, there's always some
Yeah.
bean, and then, you know, you can throw in some kind of vegetable with it that's either raw or not, you know, I mean, it's not gonna be the end of your world if you have to throw in some cucumber or something.
Well, if you
Well,
can
I
make
think-
like,
Go ahead, Jen.
well, do you like sauteed veggies, Jess? Like
Yeah.
stir fry? I think if you make that ahead of time, you can scoop out and just have that with whatever, you know, at
Yeah.
any meal.
Like, I love the
Yesterday's Buddha bowl took me all of about 2 minutes to put together, right? Because all those things
Yeah.
are already made sitting in my refrigerator. And then you just throw it together, and, you know, you could throw some pesto on it for a teaspoon.
Yeah, I think too, like getting out of the mindset that things have to be like
A recipe.
together in meals of what makes sense before, because like, you know, like Lily, she and I were talking about that earlier, like just throwing our olives in as an orange for our dinner. Like it might not actually go with dinner, but just eating olives. So
Yeah.
like, it's just a different mindset. And I am going to figure this out, but I just, it's not the easiest thing because I haven't ever, like I said, I haven't ever fully embraced portion fix. I just didn't like the way to track it. I don't know. I'm a numbers person. That's why I loved Weight Watchers. And I know that's like not everybody's thing, but again, it's all the same thing. It's just using different ways to track it. And so I will figure this out. I will. It's my goal.
It's,
And I
yeah,
told myself I'm not buying any clothes for a whole week until I track for a whole week. So no more buying sports bras or leggings or cute shirts. So
love it.
So
That's a good goal for sure. Because I have like a whole bunch of stuff in my Amazon cart.
exactly, like no Amazon shopping for myself until I track for a whole week. Like I even put it on day 7. I'm like, did you track all week? If yes, you can order something. If no, maybe next week.
That's funny. I love that.
Oh,
I would say the phone alarms are probably going to be your best bet to keep you on track and have your day planned out so that you know when you have 2 minutes to go to the fridge, you need to grab a red, a green, and a blue or whatever.
yeah.
And I think in that, and just keep it simple, and as many like bowls, like Deanna said, that you could put ahead of time together, where you could just heat it up with the veggies that are already done up for you. I just keep it simple that way.
Yeah. I agree. Is anybody still gonna do like the kind of follow the 80-day obsession a little bit, like in terms of the containers you eat before your workout and after? You're doing
I'm
that
probably
little-
going to be like 4 meals, because I'll do, you know, yeah, I don't think I will.
Okay, I was just wondering. Simplifies it for some people. I know I really like that process. So
I'm gonna try, and I still kind of follow that anyways, just loosely, because it really worked for me when I did it. But it also, I was tracking 100% and not going off plan, so that's also why it worked. I mean, when people ask which workout is going to be the best one, it's the one that you're going to stick with, and the nutrition plan you're going to stick with. I mean, that's the one that's going to work the best for you. It doesn't matter what the program is, really. And so, yeah, I know for me, I got to plan ahead and put the alarms in my phone and have healthy options available that are quick and easy. And like all the meals that I made this last week were super easy to make. They weren't hard and they were delicious. And I mean, I felt satisfied all week long.
yeah.
It wasn't like I was missing.
Share in the page, Lily?
What was that?
Did you share a lot of that in the page?
Mhm.
All right, I'll have to go back and look and see what you made.
I shared in the bod. I
what
shared
did
in the
you
bod
make?
group. I did share last night a reel that I made of not all, but a lot of my food. So I
Okay.
shared a reel last night that I had made.
I saw that. What food did you make? Do you remember?
Oh, I ate tempeh for the first time. So I made the scramble that Carol had put up that recipe. And I don't think she actually put those recipes in the group. So I'll go back and find them and put them in. I had asked her if she would do that. And
I
she
think
said
some
she
of
would,
them
but-
are. I
Did
think
some
they're
of
in
them? Did she put them in there? Oh, good.
I think there are in there.
Oh, good. So yeah, I made that one and that was really good because I never made tempeh before. I used tofu and made the BLT, the vegan BLT.
Gotcha.
That was really good. I like that. And then I love stir fries. That's super easy to me. You can put any kind of vegetable in it basically and stir fry it up. And then you can put any kind of protein with it. And so I used shrimp one day. I used steak one day. For my once a week red meat. I used chicken one day. So I do lots of stir fries because it makes it easy for me. I can bake my veggies in my air fryer, and then I have, like 3 days worth or 2 days worth, depending on how many I do. And then I can just mix them together with whatever protein I already have done. So that I keep it easy that way.
Cool, thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, we ready for tomorrow?
I'm so excited.
I think it's gonna be great. I really do. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are gonna try some new stuff. I think there's gonna be some great food combinations that you didn't know you'd, love, and it's gonna be good. Everybody's gonna be feeling good.
I think when we do another group, we definitely need to do the prep week because there's so many questions.
Yes.
Like so
Yeah.
many questions. Just people not being used to eating
Yeah.
this way or eating this food, or they don't know what tempeh is, or I've never eaten it before. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, I think it's very necessary just to kind of get your mind. It's similar, right? When we did the reset, you really need to get your mind around what's coming.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a prep week is definitely beneficial for this type of program for sure.
I think the call was great too. I really liked that format that we did. That was a really good idea, Jen and Beverly. Okay, why am I not seeing beans on the yellow list? Am I stupid?
Because they're red. They're red beef.
They're red beet. Okay, that's why. Okay, so then what is our yellow in?
This is not a gut protocol recipe. So when we brought it up,
Sorry.
we mentioned that you're going to have a red and a half of red beef.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm like, what?
Or as my husband says, I serve at the pleasure of this queen.
As he should.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to hit the stop record here so we can, everybody can move on.